All right. Chris Hassel has to be going absolutely crazy. Iowa-Nebraska, it is tied. It comes down to Marshall Meter, a 38-yard field goal to win the game, and it is good. Iowa wins 13-10. This is a team, Danny, we were talking about that is going to be playing in the Big Ten championship game. It certainly doesn't look like a team that's going to be there in the championship game. The under hit, a lot of folks were sweating that one out, including yourself. Did you take the under?
Yeah. No, but it's just fascinating because they keep setting these record totals like lower and lower and lower. The odds makers can't make it low enough. And here they are, another, like they're almost undefeated against the under. They're now 10-2 against the under, and their record on the season, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, if you look at this as a 10-win team, I guess on paper, maybe it looks okay, but not when you're looking at the scores. 13-10. That was tough. And Danny, we were talking about it. This is a team that's going to be playing in the Big Ten championship game, and the team on the other side is Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think you would who would you rather have if you're Iowa?
I would rather see a rematch of anybody. You know, Ohio State, Michigan again, get Penn State back to the table, because remember, Iowa faced Penn State earlier this year and got beat 31-0. Their offense has incredible struggles. Their defense is unbelievable. And Phil Parker, their defensive coordinator, deserves a ton of credit. They've dealt with quarterback issues this season. But this is why you need to do away with divisions. And everybody else has done it. The Big Ten, one of the last, people to the party here going to divisions. They'll go do away with them eventually. But until then, we're stuck with what we're going to see in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, when they played Penn State, that was the only ranked team that they had played all season long. But if you're Iowa, Danny, who do you think they have a better shot up against? Is it Ohio State or is it Michigan?
Neither one that are going to be significant, but I'd say Michigan is probably the better matchup because they don't have Marvin Harrison Jr. And Michigan plays that blue blood, like, let's smash mouth football, and that should play into Iowa's hand. The thing I worry about is Iowa needs to hold Michigan to 3 points if they want to have a chance to win it. Maybe they can get 2 safeties and win 4-3, because outside of that, I don't know if they have a chance to win it.
I just don't know what other game we were talking about where the biggest storyline is what is going to be higher, the temperature outside or the total. And I think it ended up being the temperature was a little bit higher.
It depends on if you went with the feels like, though, because the feels like was 17, so they flew over that. But you are right, 27 was the actual temperature, and they stayed under.
Oh, man, I feel like this Iowa team needs to be like studied for science or something. It's literally crazy.
It is an incredible coaching job, though, and you just sometimes, I mean, you should never apologize for a win, and I don't think Kirk Ferentz is going to do that. It's been an issue that's been talked about all season long. His son is the offensive coordinator who's taking so much criticism. He's going to be gone after this year, and again, even in this game, they're missing field goal kicks. So how often do you see a kicker bench mid-game and comes in for one kick to win it all? And it's a rivalry game. Like, it's remarkable what they've been able to do. And Kirk Ferentz is one of the better coaches in college football.
Yeah, Marshall Meter, he's the guy who made that attempt. And these college kickers, they can be a little bit fluky. Speaking of Kirk, he joined our Tiffany Blackman after the game. Let's take a listen.
You go with Marshall Meter to kick the game-winning field goal for you all. He hasn't kicked all year. What went into that decision?
I'd say he's done a really good job in practice. He's been very consistent, and I just felt like he had the best chance today.
The Heroes Trophy is yours. You're on your way to the Big Ten championship. Yeah. What does this feel like to get a win in this way?
Just really excited for our guys. They've been really resilient, and to find this way tonight, Herkitt gets a pick. It's crazy. A defense lineman gets a pick, and then a unsung guy comes out and kicks a field goal. So it's kind of represented this team. Somehow, some way, we've won 10 games, and it's pretty good.
I know you're emotional right now. You all have been through a lot this year. How much does this win mean to you?
Yeah, they all mean a lot, you know that. I mean, you grew up in the profession, so it's hard to win first and foremost. And it speaks to the kind of kids we have. These guys are they're fun to work with. They believe in themselves, believe in each other. They care about each other, so it's really just special.
How close are you going to be watching that Michigan-Ohio State game tomorrow?
I don't watch much TV, but I'm going to watch that one. So normally I wouldn't, but a little vested interest this time. I know we're going to have to be good. I know that.
Congratulations,
Thanks
Coach.
very much, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, just a little bit of interest there in that Michigan-Ohio State game. We've seen a lot of emotional post-game interviews in the Big Ten, the Michigan one against Penn State, and now here with Kirk. Is that something you expect from him when you're thinking about this Iowa team?
This season specifically, again, his son, his offensive coordinator, they're coming down to the final games that he's going to be on the sideline with his son. I mean, regardless of whether you think of him as a play caller, you understand the emotional attachment. And I also wonder, this is not a move that Kirk Ferentz wanted to see. I also wonder, with all this emotional outpouring, if this could mean that Kirk Ferentz decides maybe this is time to step away and either try it somewhere else or, look for another opportunity, or just to hang it up altogether, because I don't think he wanted this move to happen, and it'll make for a very interesting offseason for the Hawkeyes.
And Ross Tucker on the call for Iowa-Nebraska with us here on HQ for some takeaways and a recap. I mean, Ross, we just saw Kirk Ferentz there getting really, really emotional. We were all sweating out the total, but Iowa wins it 13-10. I want to talk about takeaways for both teams, but starting with Iowa, another low-scoring affair for them. They are heading to the Big Ten championship game, a 10-win season. They are 10-2. What were your biggest takeaways for Iowa? We'll start there.
Well, it's funny because it's almost like Iowa, it's like the same movie every week, but it's a pretty good movie for their fans because they almost always win at the end of these games. I mean, every week it comes down seemingly to the last possession. These are low-scoring games. They have an uncanny ability to find a way. Somehow, it looked like Nebraska had the better chance to win the game. Purdy throws the interception to Herkett. They get down there. Nice run by Le'Shawn Williams. Next thing you know, Iowa wins the game yet again.
It was crazy. It's like pick. Are we going to get another missed kick? What's going on here? But let's talk about the other team for Nebraska. Another losing season. They brought in Matt Rule to turn things around, a big name there at the head coaching position. But regardless of the record, is there a sense, Ross, that maybe he could still turn things around looking forward?
There absolutely is. Everybody you talk to here at Nebraska, whether it's fans or the players, they're feeling really good about Coach Rule and his staff and the future here at Nebraska. They just lost 4 straight games by 1 score in absolutely heartbreaking, gut-wrenching fashion. But as even their coaches told us this week, the close losses now will be the close wins next year. They realize that this is what they're building. They still got a lot of talent here at Nebraska. I'd be surprised if they don't have a really good record next year.
All right, in Iowa, we mentioned it, heading to the Big Ten championship game, and it's going to be a difficult task, whoever is on the other side of that matchup, whether it's Ohio State, whether it is Michigan. Ross, if you're Iowa, who would you rather face? Is it Ohio State or is it Michigan?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I don't know. I mean, I think they're about the same from Iowa's perspective. Ohio State might be a little bit more explosive in the passing game, but Michigan's looked so good this year. I think they're just happy that they get a chance to play either one of them. Maybe you'd rather play Ohio State a little bit with the more inexperienced quarterback and Kyle McCord, and hopefully he has a couple turnovers. But right now, I think Iowa, they don't really care. They're just happy to be there.
All right, Ross Tucker on the call there for Iowa-Nebraska, where Iowa wins it on a field goal of 38 yards from a kicker making his debut there. Ross, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, and it is Iowa heading to the Big Ten championship game. They're facing either Ohio State or Michigan, and you're looking at Big Ten champs from the past 10 seasons. Michigan has won the last 2 years, followed by a slew of Ohio State wins. Iowa losing to Michigan by a lot, 42-3 in the Big Ten championship game in 2021.